You're a small business that is either creating your online marketing strategy for the very first time or revamping what you've done and you're ready to relaunch or tighten things up or maybe even revamp the way that you've always done your online marketing. So once you've decided what content you're going to commit to create and you know exactly what social media platforms and other sort of marketing, online marketing tactics you're going to use, whether it's blogging, podcasting, Facebook or Google ads, email marketing, any of those things that happen in the online marketing world that you are incorporating as part of your marketing strategy. Once you've decided all of the things that you're going to use, and then you've gone ahead and planned that content calendar so you know what kind of content you're posting when, on what days of the week, to what platforms, and how all of those things work together. The next thing you need to do is develop processes. So while each of those three previous steps in developing your online marketing strategy are all critical in their own way, developing those processes is pretty darn important too. It might not seem like it, but once you have done all that work to get everything set up and make all those decisions and make all your plans, the processes are what are going to help you execute and get that job done day after day, week after week, month after month. So the challenge with processes, and when you start talking about developing processes, what works for one person is not going to be the same exact process that's going to work for the next person. So it could vary because of your work style, your industry, the number of people you do or don't have on your team to support you, and even just what your mix of online marketing platforms and tools and software are that you are using. So I do have 7 different guidelines that can help you in developing those processes. And obviously you can figure out which of those 7, what combination of those 7 is most helpful for you and what fits best for your business and your personal needs. So first of all, the first tip would be know when you work best. So some people are morning people, some people are night owls. Some people feel like, okay, if I'm going to be doing writing or some kind of creation of content, I really like to do that on Sundays because things are quieter on my house. Or if you're going to sit down and write a batch of Facebook posts or do engagement, like respond to people on Twitter or Instagram, maybe there's other times of day or days of the week that is a better fit for you. So knowing when you work best is always going to help you be more efficient. Plus, you know how it is. If you're trying to make yourself do something when you're not really wanting to do that thing, it takes way longer and is way more painful than if you just put that off to a later time when you know you're better suited to getting that job done. So my next tip would be relating to your content curation. So your online marketing mix is not going to be 100% original content. It doesn't need to be 100% original content. So you should be incorporating some amount of content that is being created by other sources. So it would be content that's relevant and complementary to your business and to your ideal clients, and stuff that your ideal clients would find interest in as it, again, ties back into your business. So for you, it might be signing up for email subscriptions from, your 5 favorite news sites or media sites, depending what your industry is, because you like getting those emails of their new articles in your email, and that's a better workflow for you. You might like to set up Google alerts for certain keyword phrases that relate to your business and industry, and you just want to get those alerts, and you're going to curate information that way. You might even just like following other accounts that are, provide some kind of updates or news or the latest that are happening in your industry, and you just want to source your content curation from other social media accounts. So again, you need to find out what works for you. Just know that there's options for you in terms of how you go about getting that your hands on that other content that you will use as a curated content part of your strategy. The third tip would be to batch your work. This is probably one of the biggest changes that you could make. I've even had consultants who work for me when I said, hey, have you ever tried to sit down and write a week's worth of Facebook posts in one sitting? And then they do it and they say, oh my goodness, that took so much less time. A big part of that is because when your brain is switching around to different activities, it's a lot more taxing to mentally be switching gears all the time. So if you can say, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a week's worth of Facebook posts or Twitter posts, or maybe you want to do more than that. Maybe you want to create images that you're going to publish to Instagram. If you can batch your work, you end up getting more done in less time overall than if you were doing those like onesie-twosies spread out over several days. The fourth tip would be go ahead and create templates. It could be an email template that you're going to use for all your future email newsletters. If you do anything with images, it could be a template that you are using for your blog post images or your social media images or your Instagram stories. So most all of the graphic design, those social media image graphic design type tools have some kind of template options, or even if you design it from scratch, you can then just update those previously saved versions of your Instagram size and your Facebook size and your Pinterest size and your Instagram story size with whatever the new background image is or the title is or the quote you're going to put on it. So it's helpful to, for that template, even if you feel like template's a little bit formal, it could be as simple as you have a certain hex code color, so like the color of your that you use on your website or in your brand colors, and certain fonts you want to use, and you want to make sure you always have your logo in like the bottom corner, something like that. So having a system and an approach to how you're always going to make those images look, make future image creation go much, much faster instead of trying to search through different design templates each time and recreate the wheel. So the fifth one would be spreadsheets, or docs, or pen and paper. It doesn't even have to be done online, but having some kind of system to keep track of the various tasks that you do is super helpful. So I like Google Sheets and Google Docs just because it's free, it's easy to use, you can access it no matter where you are, and you can collaborate very easily with Google Drive. So one example that I use Sheets for is I will write up a set of tips that I want turned into images. So I can have what the tip category is, what the tip is itself, and then a column for if the image in Instagram, the square size, has already been made, so that can be checked off. And if that image in Instagram story size has been made, so that can be checked off. Then I have two more columns. So once I actually go ahead and schedule and publish the Instagram square and the Instagram story of that tip, I can check that. And then I have a notes column after that where whatever caption I want to put with that Instagram square image in the feed, I can write what that's going to be there. Another thing would be, if you want to keep track of your Pinterest pins, that's a big one because Pinterest can get unruly really quickly. So you can have a spreadsheet where you have the name of your pins and your pin links on one side and all of your boards across the top. And you can either put an X in the field or put a date in the field of when you last shared that link or to your online store or your blog or your podcast, whatever it is that you're pinning. So that way you don't have to try to remember and go back through your existing pins and say, hey, have I already pinned that? And when's the last time I pinned it? So think of different ways that you can utilize tools like a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, or like I said, pen and paper, to keep track of those things, because it'll save you a whole bunch of time and frustration in the long run. So the sixth would be tools. So don't think you have to do everything manually. A lot of these social platforms, or even things like blogging, podcasting, your email marketing, you can create stuff and schedule it in advance. So nothing really has to be done in real time, besides obviously if you're responding to comments, replying to messages, or actually engaging with other people on the platforms. So it could be that you are doing things within each platform, like Facebook lets you pre-schedule stuff. You can pre-schedule those blog posts for publishing, your MailChimp or Constant Contact newsletters, or it could be that you're using some third-party software where you're scheduling a whole bunch of posts to go out to Twitter and LinkedIn and Google My Business and Pinterest and Instagram, and in doing it that way too. So just know that there are tools there to make things easier for you. You don't want to be 100% automated, but there's a lot that you can do with those tools, and for not any money really, or very small amounts of money. So the seventh would be outsource. So you might consider outsourcing some kind of task that you just hate doing and brings you no joy, or it's frustrating to you, you just don't like it. You might also outsource something that you just feel like it's easy to pass off. So you don't have to do everything yourself, or it doesn't have to be you plus other people on your team. You could outsource some of those online marketing tasks, which would then leave you more time to do other parts of your business or the parts of your business that you enjoy. So like I said, those are 7 different tips that I have to help you develop those processes, and those online marketing processes are what are going to help you get your online marketing job done day after day. So they're very, very important. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments below. Otherwise, you have a great rest of your day. Bye.